Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be around this wild, wacky, and sometimes disturbing world of ours. Yes, that's the intro to the Mindset Podcast, a weekly attempt to open eyes and shedding light on what's really going on in the world, all done by ripping apart the media madness that masquerades as news. Join me, Gareth Davis, every Sunday on the Mindset Podcast. You can find the show on all major podcasting services such as iTunes, Stitcher, and so on. Or you can go directly to the main Mindset website. That's www.mindsetcentral.com. Check out the Mindset Podcast. Bring your curiosity, your opinions, and a sense of humor. And remember that some worldviews are stranger than others.
And welcome to Nocturnal Frequency Radio here on the New Visions Radio Network. And of course, simulcasting live on our YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in this evening.
Good evening, all.
What?
I said good evening. I was trying to be like a vampire.
It sounded like you're like belching or something.
Oh, come on. I wouldn't be that insensitive.
You wouldn't be. Oh, come on. I think the listeners know better than that.
I know. I'm just trying to make it seem like I'm a gentleman.
A gentleman and a scholar, as
apparently,
it goes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what's new, Alex?
Nothing. I hope Ron was in the chat to hear that today.
Sorry?
I said I hope Ron was in the chat to hear about that one because he was asking about it last week.
I don't think so, but maybe he'll have to catch up.
Gonna have to rewatch
it. So this evening, we're just gonna jump right into it. This evening, returning to the show is our good friend, all the way from Sweden, Fred Andersson. Thank you for joining us, Fred. It's been God, a couple months. Anyways, it seems like.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very, very happy to be back. When was the last time? I
think you kicked off this season. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you were here for the season premiere, which was God. When did we do it?
Oh,
that was it. With this COVID and everything else, it's like it doesn't seem like a season ends. We've been doing so many shows this year.
I know we're up to this is like the 34th episode. That is unheard of.
Yeah, we don't normally do this, man. How many episodes do we normally do? About what, 20, 25, if that?
Yeah, around there, because we usually take a break at Christmas, and then March we usually take another week off or so. So we didn't take any break at all this year. So we're up to episode 34 already.
Yay!
So yeah, it's 34, season 13 of the show. Yeah. So, Fred, you've been a busy guy. I mean, like, you're always busy. You always seem to have something on the go, and it's very, like I said, we were talking earlier about. I find it really intriguing, your interest and how you've dove right into UFO research, and you brought forward this story that we'll talk about in a little bit. Of this incident that happened in the in the 70s in Sweden. There, it's like, what do you coin it? This Swedish version of Roswell?
Yeah, kinda, but we call it the Vallentuna UFO flap, and it was without a doubt the biggest, most talked about UFO event in during the 70s, and I would say since the 30s and 40s, the biggest thing ever in the field of UFOs and aliens or whatever it can be. People are still talking about it. You have a specific date. People go out and visit the scene where it happened. You still have witnesses talking about it. When I started to, during the last couple of years, it's been kind of forgotten, and then I started to look into it, and I realized it's so huge. I honestly can't imagine. I don't understand why there's not a 2-hour documentary and TV specials about it.
Well, that's what I found funny. Like when I looked it up, I mean, your article, your post, your writing about it, basically, it comes right up as one of the first.
I've found very, very few mentions of it in English in general. So you can find a couple of Swedish articles about it, but it's from Swedish ufologists, those who worked with it at the time, like Håkan Blomqvist. But it's I'm surprised that it hasn't really, that it's not more well known outside Sweden. I'm really, really confused by that. Must be a cover up or something.
Oh, not in the UFO world. No, there's no cover ups there. What are you talking about? I've never heard of such a thing. Come on. Okay, so for those who may not probably have no clue what this is about, do you want to give them a small or short synopsis of what we're talking about with this case?
Yeah, it was set in 1974 in Vallentuna, which is slightly north of Stockholm. It's still in the Stockholm area. And there's especially this woman, Hillevi Andersson, who one evening decides to call her parents. She was 36 at the moment. She calls them. She gets no answer. There's interference on the lines. So she takes her kids. She goes there. She drives like 10 kilometers. During that time, she sees that a light is following the car, a bright light, and she thinks, that's weird. But it's like, it's probably a helicopter or airplane or star or something like that. She arrives to her parents' place where they meet her. They're very upset because television doesn't work. Telephone lines are down, and they're standing on the porch, and suddenly they see this big, strong, pulsating light coming down, at a quarry, on the other side of the road. And they're like, what is this? So the whole family, her parents and everyone goes over to the other side of the road to the quarry and sees what she describes as a big craft, a big ship. It's coming down, and there's 3 beams going up from the ground into the ship. And suddenly the ship shrinks to the size of an orange and flies right up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
And there's also a smaller craft around this bigger flying around, like a small ball. So they're pretty scared. So they decide to take the car to her brother. Drives like 15 minutes. But they don't see this craft. When they arrive, her brother's wife meet them on the porch. And the first thing she asks is, "What's this light following you?" And they turn around and they see this light hovering out there in the darkness. Now there's quite a lot of people now, and they cram into 2 cars. They drive away, and this huge ship starts following her car above them. She stops, and the ship is kind of just beaming its lights onto her car, and she sits there for a while. And one of her children, there's 3 children, have this urge to go out and kind of go to the ship, but she stops her daughter. The ship then moves and starts to examine a barn nearby, and then it flies away. So, and this goes on. This story is a very, very, quick version of everything. It goes on for maybe 40-45 minutes, where Hillevi and her family is basically stalked by this big UFO and this smaller, kind of like a satellite UFO to the big UFO. This could of course be a wacky family coming up with something, but during this evening there was over 70 witness reports from the same area where other people saw this alleged UFO. So it was seen, by a lot of people. And this also, this was kind of the culmination of several months of UFO sightings. It began already around New Year, when some New Year's they're coming home from a New Year's celebration, and sees also this huge craft floating near a forest. So there was hundreds of sightings during this month, and it kind of led up to this one night. And after that, it kind of disappeared. But actually, I've been doing some research, and people are still seeing lights in this area. So there's something going on there. Like a month ago, people were seeing something there.
So this is all relatively in the same area.
Oh yeah, it's like within, I would say, 5 kilometers. Like a 5 kilometer area, and everything is also around certain spots, like you have this place called Lindholmen and Vasakullen, which for hundreds of years has been a kind of hotspot for supernatural things. You can call them ghosts, you can call them UFOs. Stuff is happening there, and a lot of it is connected to lights. But I mean, the ship itself that she showed, I mean, she could see what she thought was some kind of windows or monitors or something like that on the side. It's a very, very clear event. I mean, I talked with her in December last year.
Yeah.
And she still remember everything so it's so crisp to her. Even if I go back and look at her original report, she says exactly the same thing.
So she was all too happy to share the experience with you.
She admitted, I mean, she wanted to talk to me about it for some reason, but I mean, she's been living in this area for her whole life, and she still gets stopped in the store by someone who recognizes her. She's over 80 now, and most of the other witnesses has either passed away or they just don't want to talk about it. For example, of her three children, 2 doesn't want to talk about it at all. There was actually an alleged abduction the night before, also the 23rd, when Gösta Hägg, I think his name was also at this place, Lindholmen and Vasakullen, saw a bright light, got knocked down on the ground, and later, during hypnosis, though, he mentioned a very, very vivid experience of have been taken aboard the ship by 3 transparent beings, basically. And this whole event, I would say we have a few bigger UFO events in Sweden, but this one gained the interest from the military.
Oh, really?
So the days after you had the military there, you have let's see what the English name is for it. The Swedish National Defense Research Institute was there, with hazmat suits, and they checked burnt ground. They met witnesses who all got sick, by the way, vomiting, deep pain around their stomach, an increased level of white blood cells. For example, which could point to something radioactive, for example.
So were they ever able to figure out exactly what might happen and why this particular area? Like I know you said it's been a hotspot supernaturally for years, but why do you think this particular area?
This this part of Sweden, and I also live in this. Sorry, is very, very ancient. We have a record amount of rune stones and old fortresses and grave mounds. So people want to connect this to these, like it's just a place where communication is happening between this realm and some other realm, whatever realm that might be. It's important to say that Hillevi, she says until today that she can't say that this is aliens, that this is ultra-terrestrials or something, but she swear by God, because she's also a deeply Christian woman, that this was something she experienced. This was something they saw. But I mean, as soon as it's getting warmer, we're gonna head over there and bring a tent and stay overnight in this
see if we
area.
can capture anything.
Yeah, something, because I mentioned this on a couple of groups on Facebook because I was trying to see if I can find some more modern info, and there were several people who said, yeah, like a month ago, a couple of weeks ago, the lights were back. Someone claimed that his friend was chased by these lights. It's pretty wild, actually, but I don't know why why these lights and these events is happening at this place, but I find that very intriguing, of course.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, is there anything like military wise in the area, or anything that you could sort of discount, or
regarding military objects, it could be because this is around Stockholm and it's pretty close to the water itself. Vallentuna is not so close, but I mean, if you have vehicles that fly, helicopters, smaller airplanes, of course. But the military has denied from day one that they had anything to do with it. They actually thought it was Russians, the evil communists, doing it. They also put forth the theory it was balloons.
Of course.
And
isn't that the standard answer?
Yeah, it is. It's kind of feel a lot like Roswell there. It's the balloons again.
So, Fred, before you go on, I want to share the article. I want to show everybody on YouTube the website. So I'm going to transition to that, and I also want to let everybody know that the link to Fred's website is in the description in the YouTube underneath the video here. So if you want to go check it out. All the links to his social media and his website where you can read this article here that I'm showing everybody right now. And for everybody on New Visions Radio, you're going to have to go and check it out on our YouTube channel afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, I recommend you to read the article because it's a lot more coherent than my ramblings trying to explain this this case. I kind of go through, moment for moment, almost what happens during these 40 minutes of UFO terror because they were scared.
So what drew you to this particular case? Because it was local? I mean, what drew you to this case?
We have, I would say, one of the finest UFO organizations in the world here in Sweden, UFO Sweden.
Yeah.
Which have been something I've been interested in since I was a kid. So we have a very serious research into the subject. But this is also Sweden. So, I mean, there isn't so many of these amazing stories to look into, really. I mean, of course there are, but not big like this, or not stories where you actually can find newspaper clippings, or you can still find witnesses who want to talk about it. And of course it's local. I mean, it's like 20 kilometers from where I live also. And this of course it attracts me more, if it was in the south of Sweden or up in the north somewhere. Here I can actually go and check out the place. I'm actually so fond of this. I told my partner that I want to buy a house out there, so I can
buy one with a terrace so you can go outside and just watch.
Oh yeah. I don't have to
charge a service fee, and have some binoculars that record.
Yeah. I would love to, but it's so un-Swedish. maybe that's why it attracts me. I mean, if you read the story, the event, to me it feels more like something you would experience in the UK or the US or Canada. It has this family drama. It has multiple witnesses. It has a media frenzy the days after. It has everything that's not so connected to Swedish culture. It's when it comes to things like this. I mean, we have tons of ghosts and stuff like that everywhere. I've dug up some really cool stuff there also, to be honest. But I mean, I think it's quite powerful that Sweden was actually I mean, we were one of the early places where when it came to UFO sightings. Between 36 and 37, we had the ghost pilots that was seen in hundreds over Stockholm, hundreds of incidents with unknown aircraft. That wasn't German or anything. It was just, they came down, they landed. It's exactly like modern UFO cases, but people claimed it was airplanes. And in the 40s, you have the ghost rockets, where we have at least 4 crash landings confirmed by the military, but they never found the remains of the rockets. They called them rockets at the time. So we have a nice history with these things, but it really never took off into classic UFOs until 60s and 70s.
No, what interests me more even so is is the fact that you're stating that you have lots of ancient sites in and around the area, and the possibility that these people that were living there at the time that created these sites, that built these sites and whatnot, having contact with these same sort of UFOs, if you will. And I mean, where how long are we talking about? How long ago were these built? A lot of these sites.
We're talking about Iron Age and Bronze Age, so there's thousands of years. And there's a lot of them. There's everywhere here, and I'm not saying all of them has a connection to some other realm of some kind. But you have these certain what you can say hotspots. We have a big fortress, like 10 kilometers from here, maybe, where I discovered that at least a couple of people had quite vivid UFO sightings in the area also. Now we have a little issue with all of this, and that's that the biggest airport is 5 kilometers from where I live, and 30 kilometers from the Vallentuna case, which I told about earlier. But this was also in the 70s. It wasn't the same amount of airplanes up in the sky, but they checked that also at the time. Were there in airplanes coming in over Vallentuna, or that has always been there, and there's no denial that, I mean, the reason why, I would love to see a UFO myself, something I can identify as a UFO, but there's so much airplanes over where I live, so it's like, there's dots and lights all the time up here.
I had an interesting experience with what I'd like to call a UFO, and I know Alex had a similar one a few years later.
I did,
and not quite as extravagant as the case you're talking about, but nonetheless, it was just very unusual. And somebody that I knew at the time had experienced the same thing that I did, and they tried contacting everybody, like the military and local airport to see if there's any exercises going on. And of course, the military will never tell you that. They'll just say, no, we don't know what you're talking about. Exercises, no, none of those going on. They're not going to tell you if there is or not. I mean, who are you? Who are you to think that they'd share that kind of information with you? Come on.
yeah. Actually, after Vallentuna, they. Sorry, I interrupted you. You were about to.
No.
After Vallentuna, the military actually staged a fake military exercise in the area. They called it an exercise, just but they were really there to monitor the area if the UFO or the UFOs would show up again.
Okay.
Which I actually find quite amusing. This was something that was known much later when documents came up. They had two stations to be able to have a good view over this main hotspot area from two different directions at the time, days after. But they never, what I know, they never saw anything or experienced anything. But they took it seriously, obviously. Yeah. Who knows if they found something.
Now, are you just with the interest and as far as what you've looked into, has it just been local, or have you actually been interested in UFO cases across the world, sort of?
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, since I was a kid, I've been. I mean, the first UFO case I think I ever got fascinated by was the Lonnie Zamora case in Socorro. The egg, the big egg landing in the forest in the desert. I mean, and it was mentioned in a Swedish book, The Amazing Flying Saucers. If you translate the title directly, by Eugen Semichov, who was a Russian-Swedish journalist. And he wrote this book, which is quite good even today. It's a lot of debunking going on, but he kind of brings up the most important cases in Sweden and internationally. This is like in the 70s, and lots of quite rare photos from the time also. So that kind of got me into the subject a lot. He's written extensively about Gösta Karlsson. Gösta Karlsson was a contactee during the 50s and 60s who claimed to have gotten information from the aliens how to produce a certain form of nutrients and energy from, what do you call this, pollen in this is seeds from flowers.
Okay.
Yeah. So they gave him this knowledge, and he turned that into a multi-million, business after that. And if you go to his hometown, Hässleholm, you can actually find a UFO monument out in the forest that he built as a memory of this meeting. You can take his story with a grain of salt, but it's very, very fascinating when you dig into it. It's so just that he claims that everything he learned he got from the aliens is quite wild.
That's the kind of aliens I need to meet.
Once again, please.
I said those are the kind of aliens that I need to meet. The ones that can make me a lot of money.
Yeah, please, yeah. The rumor says that he had snakes in his factory that was, instead of guards, he had poisonous snakes all around the factory floor that he poured out every evening so people wouldn't dare to go in and take his secrets. I like that detail.
Wow.
Are you familiar with Billy Myers?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah. And his experiences there in Switzerland?
Yeah, I am. I would say that Billy Meyer is also one of those characters that showed up pretty early in my life. Not that I still believe that he's a guy who make things up, but I'm still very, very fascinated by that kind of stories. And to my surprise, I visited one of these new age conferences. They have one in Stockholm each year, and I think it's so fun to go there and smell the incense and buy tarot decks, and and the Billy Meyer. I don't know if I should call it a cult, but they had they had a table at this conference, spreading their message, because then I learned that Billy Meyer is still alive, which I didn't know. I mean, he must be super old. Yeah. But I love his UFO photos. I mean,
the photos are fascinating.
Yeah.
I think we had Michael Horn on many years ago on the show to talk about Billy Myers, because if anybody knows, he's a filmmaker in his own right that has been in contact with Billy Meyer for years, and he was pushing pretty much, if anything, the agenda of his, contact with these aliens and these UFOs that he had been photographing. And yeah, the photographs are just wow. How do you do it, right? they're fascinating, but you know damn well they're not real.
Yeah, they're too good. I mean, they're not always in focus, but it's very much flying saucer, the old school flying saucer, and I like that a lot. It's like the George Adamski photos.
Yeah.
Which I would love a photo book, like a coffee table book only with this Billy Meyer or Adamski photos, because I think they're kind of, in one way, it's a work of art, especially if you connect it to the story around these guys.
Yeah, his photos. They should have used them. Unfortunately, they weren't in existence when they shot Plan 9 from Outer Space. But yeah, they're pretty intriguing. That's for sure. The photos that he was able to take, or supposedly take. So
I'm trying to understand the contactee movement. Adamski, Meyer, Menger. What was their purpose? Because you don't see the same kind of almost religious contactees nowadays. I mean, the contactee movement is of course there, but I think it's more connected to abductions and similar things. But these guys, it was so otherworldly, the whole thing. And I almost said I miss it, but of course I'm much younger than that, so I couldn't have experienced it at the time anyway. But I'm just trying to understand what their part of UFO history is. What was their purpose? Why did that evolve?
I completely agree, and I think that goes in par with pretty much anything that is paranormal or UFO. You look at a lot of these fascinating stories, and they were all years ago. The 80s back, whatever. There's no real new great tales or stories. I think what is it? Is it because we're not necessarily desensitized towards it, because we always we know that so many people over the years have fooled us with a lot of these stories.
I think that's part of the problem.
Well, that's a huge part of the problem. Yeah. But and I think, Fred, I don't know. I remember going into grocery stores, and at the magazine rack there'd be tabloids, and the tabloids would have all these stories, and they'd be fascinating.
Yeah.
You don't see that anymore.
I think we're more distant from it because it's been taken over by alleged military organizations and departments, and it's UAPs instead of UFOs, for example. And I dislike the expression UAP because I find it so boring. I want UFOs. I want flying saucers, but not UAPs. Everything nowadays it's about former militaries talking about nuclear facilities. It's that meme that rules UFO community today. So I mean, I rather read about old cases or the more, let's say, traditional UFO sightings than what's often talked about today.
Well, I know there was a lot of displacement in the UFO community in the 90s going up to the early 2000s. When people started talking about cattle mutilation and even human mutilation. In fact, I think there was a famous case in Bolivia. I believe it was Brazil, where the corpse of a man was found, and they claimed it to be, mutilation through alien contact, and the UFO community was in an uproar to think that who would even think of this as being, possible, but other than something else, explain it other than it being situated. I think a dear friend of mine was producing and directing a TV series called Beyond. And one of the episodes, they deal with that case. He actually went down to Brazil and investigated the case to say, look at, okay, what is the possibility of this actually being, alien contacted sort of human mutilation. It had all the trademarks of cattle mutilation, but with a human, obviously. And he unraveled it all in this episode of the TV series, and the networks wouldn't allow it to be played.
Yeah.
They wouldn't allow it to be played because the content was disturbing. I mean, human mutilation. Come on, we can't. That's taboo. We can't talk about that. So, I mean, I get it. People don't want to see that, but I mean, if this is going on, if this is actually a thing, then I don't know. Well, there was another case in Pennsylvania that made headlines in the 90s too, of a farmer who went missing, and they found him in the top of a tree, naked, obviously, with his blood drained completely, and incisions made, and all his organs taken out, and they can't understand how he got up in the tree. They just don't know how he got there in that condition.
Oh, that's bizarre. I haven't heard about that one. But,
I'll dig it up and I'll send you the information if you want.
This kind of Alex, I thought Alex said something here.
Yeah, go ahead.
This kind of reminds me of something that's been quite trendy the last couple of years, the David Paulides missing 411. And I don't know if you dug into this. Which, I mean, I admit, every time he releases a documentary, I watch it. I do that,
I do.
Because there is, first of all, I love drone shots over forests. I can watch it.
Well, then you'll like our new documentary coming up. Then we've got lots of. Oh yeah.
Oh,
the dark woodlaw. You'll love the drone shots.
Oh yeah. When is it out?
Not yet. It's we still got to shoot. We still got a few more days of shooting.
Yeah.
But because of the current lockdown here, we haven't been able to.
Okay.
So once that's over, hopefully we can get out there and finish it up, and then patch it together. Post and then get it out there.
I'm really looking forward to see it, especially if there's drone shots over forests.
Oh yeah.
Well, Fred, you can go to our YouTube channel and you can see the teaser trailers. It has a few of the drone shots there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
There's some of the drone shots there.
No, but seriously, I mean, drone shots are nice, but there is something mystical with forests, of course,
yeah.
and nature, and I don't know what you guys, how's your stance on the David Paulides theories, or what he tried to put forth, like it's a big mystery. I'm kind of divided on it, because yeah.
I'm with you, Fred. I'm the same way. I'm kind of divided. I think it what he presents is very possible, but at the same time, I mean, is there a lot of filler in there that, okay, look at he's presenting something, he needs people to be interested in it, and of course he's going to throw that out. But I mean, what excuse me, I think the number was that, what is it? Roughly about 1 million people go missing each year around the world without a trace.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a huge amount. And without a trace, where do they go? I mean, obviously we know there's all sorts of weird things that happen, that somebody's eaten by an alligator they're never found. I mean, like there's weird. Unfortunately, that stuff happens, and we, somebody was swallowed up by a python, or, you hear about this stuff all the time, but you don't know who it was.
Yeah, that's true.
An anaconda, maybe.
Well, an anaconda, whatever. Right?
Snake, a big snake.
Let me put it this way: if it's only 1 million, I don't think it's enough in my books.
No.
You think it's more?
I'd like to see more.
I'd like to see more.
Okay. Well, my what I always think about when I see his David Paulides stuff is that most of them who disappear are old, and or have some kind of physical thing, and they found near water. And to me, I mean, if you're old and frail, yeah, okay, maybe you can't get so far, but it's probably a lot easier for you to disappear or die out in the wilderness. And this thing that they find the bodies near water, because they're thirsty. Yeah, they go to water. So that part I don't think is such a big mystery. But yeah, there is some sorry the word fantastic cases, but there's some very intriguing cases absolutely around it. But I'm still divided. I need to read his books.
Okay, we're gonna take a break here. When we come back, let's talk about you're currently working on the 3rd season of your paranormal TV series.
Yes, I do.
We'll talk. Of course, share what you can. Yes. I know there's a lot of stuff you can't share, but we'll talk about that and a lot more. So don't go anywhere, folks. You're listening and watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio. If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, it's @Dark Discussions. Facebook, just type in Nocturnal Frequency Radio, and of course our Instagram, which is Nocturnal Frequency Radio. We'll be right back with more from Fred Andersson. Don't go anywhere.
evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be around this wild, wacky, and sometimes disturbing world of ours. Yes, that's the intro to the Mindset Podcast, a weekly attempt to open eyes and shedding light on what's really going on in the world, all done by ripping apart the media madness that masquerades as news. Join me, Gareth Davis, every Sunday on the Mindset Podcast. You can find the show on all major podcasting services such as iTunes, Stitcher, and so on. Or you can go directly to the main Mindset website. That's www.mindsetcentral.com. Check out the Mindset Podcast. Bring your curiosity, your opinions, and a sense of humor. And remember that some worldviews are stranger than others.
Welcome back to Nocturnal Frequency Radio here on the New Visions Radio Network, and of course, simulcasting live on our YouTube channel. And again, we're joined by our good friend Fred Andersson, all the way from Sweden. Thanks again, Fred, for I know it's awfully early there, and
yeah, it's Monday morning now.
It's Monday morning there.
But it's fine. It's fine. I can handle it.
So you've been a part of a paranormal TV show now, and you're going into the third season. You're currently working on the third season. And I know you talked a little bit about it the last time you were on the show, but maybe just give a little refresher course to those who might not know anything about this TV series that you're working on.
Yeah, I'm so grateful actually to work on it. I had like a year in 2019 where I didn't get any jobs. It was very, hardly any jobs at all. And one day they called me from a production company and said, we need a researcher very, very fast. Can you start next week? And I said, yeah, sure, absolutely. Because it had to do with haunted houses. And I worked for a week and they said, Fred, do you want to go from researcher to I don't know the English name for it, like editor in chief, something like that. I said, yes, of course, and so we started to produce a show called Spökjakt, which literally means ghost hunt, with one of the more famous, you could call him an influencer, but he's a media guy. He owns a lot of companies and a lot of TV projects, and he loved ghosts. So we quite quickly put together a European season where he and LaxTon, which is the only professional paranormal investigators we have here in Sweden. Mm-hmm. They checked out some classic places like Hoska Castle or Ancient Ram Inn, or the places to go where if you want to experience paranormal stuff in Europe. And that became a huge success. And of course, that greenlit a second season. And then the pandemic struck quite hard. Yeah. And I planned a whole season in the United States. 6 fantastic episodes. Really, really good stuff. And everything, 1 week before the team were about to go, everything got, canceled. So we put it in Sweden instead. And another great success. Maybe I sound like I'm bragging here, but
No.
it's insane numbers of viewers in these
good.
parts of the world. Yeah, it's like absurd when I see it.
Well,
and
let me. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Well, let me ask you, because you had a season mapped out for the U.S.
Yes.
Can you talk about any of the locations or whatever that you were thinking about in the U.S.?
Yeah, let's see if I can find them in my memory archive now, because I it was quite a big disappointment that it was canceled. Well, first we had I've deliberately almost forgotten about it, because it was very painful after all that work and then everything. It was the what's the name, the house they were inspired to do the Conjuring about, the
Conjuring house.
Yeah, the Conjuring house.
Is that in Connecticut?
I mean, now they have investigations there every week, basically, in this house, because they used it. But this was in the beginning when they just decided to do that. Really, it's like I pushed away all these memories, but there were some really good places. You have to believe me.
Was one of them Waverly Hills Sanitarium?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't actually. There was some discussions about it, because I felt that Waverly Hills was overdone, because everyone and their mother has been there doing something.
I call it the paranormal Disneyland.
Yeah. Good expression to describe it. And I was against it, and the team really, or the star and producer said, we have to go there. I said, but I can't get you in. It's just a couple of weeks. Yeah, we give more money, we can pay for it. But it was impossible. It was booked every day, basically, the whole year round. You have to book it several months before. We had a place down in Texas, some old hotel, which was actually fantastic also. We had a cemetery in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Which is quite rare, because here in Europe you would never be allowed to do a paranormal investigation, an official, on a cemetery.
Yeah.
But these, I think it's not used as a cemetery nowadays, but it's still a bit sensitive. But they were very open to it, so that would have been our one of our episodes. I can't remember the places really.
How about the Villisca Axe Murder Home?
Yeah. We actually had that one. It was
I'll give you a little recommendation, and if you do a little bit, and if you know what, because you never know what might happen when things open up, and you never know. One place to look into that has not been overdone and has a little bit of notoriety is the Hinsdale House.
Hinsdale House.
Hinsdale House. It's actually really intriguing. Of course, there. I hate to say it, but there's a lot of demonic activity. But demonic in what sort of capacity, I don't know. But there's been a lot of interesting stuff that's happened in the home. I wouldn't necessarily call it demonic, but obviously something very interesting.
Yeah, I will definitely check it out. But I will probably have you will probably have to remind me the name of it. Hinsdale, something like that.
Yeah, Fred, I just posted it on Skype chat. The link.
Yeah, he sent you a link there. Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, there is this. There's always this issue when you do paranormal shows, especially in Sweden and Scandinavia, where there's very, very few of these, and that the production always want a couple of these really famous places. as a hook. And for my part of the job, it's good because there's a lot of work that has to be done during a very short time schedule. So if I have a couple of those obvious places, I can mix up with some of the more obscure places. It's good for me. In the United States, I found a fantastic place, theater. I don't remember the town, a small town. This like 150-year-old theater with also had some very interesting stuff going on there, and quite a lot of it captured on camera, which look real. I was pushing for that location a lot, and I got, I got it, but then everything went down the drain anyway. I don't want to talk about it.
Well, if you ever think about Canada, just let me know. I could. I got a few places here that we can get you into.
I'm all for Canada. I've suggested Canada for some upcoming season. Because I would love to. I mean, I would love myself to go to Canada one day, but yeah, it looks like it has a lot of interesting places, and it also looks like it's not so overdone like the United States houses or places like that.
Steve's house is very haunted.
Yeah, I believe you.
Some weird noises go on at night.
I've had some pretty interesting stuff happen here. Yeah. That's for sure. And my neighbors don't like me. Let's just put it. Apparently, my house likes to party when I'm not home. All that aside, Fred, it actually led me down to doing research on the area where this house was built. Mm-hmm. And it's led me even further into finding out about the premise to the what's called the Dark Woodlot, the documentary we're working on right now. And an old woodlot that has more than meets the eye. There's not really a lot there, but there is a lot there.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, trust me. We essentially went into this thinking, okay, there's not going to be a whole lot there. But then we went in and we started shooting, and all this weird stuff really happened. You're like, okay, we can't walk away right now. We have to continue. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So it's expanded into a full-fledged documentary. So
I'm stoked right now. Yeah. I mean and when you put it that way, it kind of feels. I don't want to make any comparisons because it's probably something completely different. But I'm one of the countless of people out there who was quite hooked by Hellier, for example.
Oh yeah.
Which I enjoy a lot.
Dana and Greg, great. I remember both of them when they were starting off. Greg with Ghost Hunters Incorporated, and Dana up here in Canada. She was a part of an outfit called Girly Ghost Hunters.
Yeah, I heard about them.
And to think that they were gonna actually get together and become a couple and do what they've done. They've done Hillier was actually really good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, the second season especially. I mean, when people ask me, if they should see it, I say, yeah, you should see it, but you need to watch the first season also.
Well, yeah,
because you need to watch it, and then I love the first season, but it's compared to the second, it's more normal. I don't know how to describe it. It's more
more normal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you managed to see their what was the name of the documentary they did before? It was on Bigfoot.
No, I haven't seen it. No.
And they were in contact with this guy. What was his name? Tom. I think his name was Tom something. Upper State New York,
Mm-hmm.
and they actually went on a Bigfoot hunt in this documentary, and it was interesting because they when they weren't expecting when Tom showed up, he brought a couple rifles, and they're like, okay, why do we need these? Uh, what the hell, man? We're dealing with a wild animal. Okay, Bigfoot. Okay, you come across it, you think he's going to pat you on the back. We need to deal with this firsthand. We need rifles. We need to protect ourselves. so, so it's an interesting document. I forget the name of it. I'll have to look it up, but really, really interesting. This guy Tom he's a professional Bigfoot hunter, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
He does it for a living. He is so animated, it's hilarious.
Yeah. I want to see it.
Yeah.
I want to see it. Yeah. Can you be a professional Bigfoot hunter? I mean, that's awesome. It depends on I don't want them to kill Bigfoot, of course, but
I don't think he was ready to kill him, but he says, "Oh, you have to be prepared to defend yourself just in case something goes a little." Because sometimes you got to kind of wonder, Fred. It's not always these crypto creatures that we have to worry about more than humans.
Mm-hmm. Who's the real monster here?
Who's the real monster, right? Exactly.
This is why I say when 1 million people go missing a year, it's not enough.
So yeah, okay, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Fred.
No, we're actually shooting season 3.
Season 3, yeah.
Of Spökjakt at the moment. They're going out to shoot episode 5 of this season, and later in the week they will shoot episode 6, and then we have this season done at least, and then I'm going to start to prepare another season after that. So it's like, it's a busy day. Busy days.
So is this okay? So is this just shot in Swedish, right? There's no English.
No, I'm afraid not. It's in Swedish, and it's a pity because it's a damn good show.
It sounds good. I mean, I've read the synopsis, and from what you have said, it sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, we're. Compared to a lot of the shows in the United States and the UK, it also looks fantastic. I mean, we have a very cinematic look on it. Of course, you have the normal running around with night vision cameras also, but there is this big epic feelings of the episodes, and we have a very good cast. Of quite the characters, so it's I'm super proud of it. I'm really super proud. It's rarely I'm proud of a production I've been working with, because a lot of what you work in this business is, to be honest, trash. I mean it's like, and this is like. This is something different, especially if you compare to what else you can see here in the Scandinavian countries. And this season's I can't tell you so much about the locations, but it is in Sweden because of the pandemic. But we decided to go after the more unexplored places, so it's not the usual haunted houses that everyone has visited. I really dug up some places where they've never been investigated, and you still can find tons of stories in them and around them. I'm especially happy with the place on Gotland. Gotland is an island outside the Swedish coast, and there you have this farm, like a medieval farm, basically. It's 2 big houses, two floor houses. And it had all these legends quite fairy tale legends about a sinister man haunting the place, and it, you read the same legend everywhere, and I started to dig into it because I had a good feeling about it, and I discovered that there's tons of witnesses in modern times who experienced quite spectacular things in and around this farm. We're talking full, body apparitions and being chased, and so it's quite sensational when I started to dig into it. And we got a few of those witnesses on camera, also willing to talk about it.
Well,
Yeah.
let me give you a little pointer though. If you do have some sort of investigation or whatever there, do not invite Alex. Alex will scare whatever ghosts that are there away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they call me the ghost deterrent.
He's the official ghost deterrent.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, it could be good in some cases, I would say.
So Fred, have you ever considered having these episodes subtitled so it can be viewed over here in North America? Has that ever been considered?
I would love for that to happen. But these episodes are, it's up to Discovery Plus, the channel, to decide if they want to do that. And currently, you can watch them on streaming here in Scandinavia. But for each episode, they often put each season they put the first episode up on YouTube, and for a couple of months to let people see it there, watch it there. And but I think they removed the current episodes by now, the free version. So you have to pay to see this. But it's I know that they want to try to sell the concept to the United States, to do it like this show. But I mean, to be honest, if you take this, I mean, it's very much built like an American kind of paranormal show, just much better. So I'm not sure that would work actually, because it's it's so identified with this project, with these people. So I'm not sure it would work, but yeah, of course I hope it will spread all over the world.
Yeah, it's sad because I mean there's been a lot of great stuff that's come out of Scandinavia that they've tried to translate into the English, into North America or whatever else, and sometimes it's worked, but for the most part, people just, I don't know.
Yeah.
My favorite stuff from Scandinavia is death metal.
Yeah, of course.
You cannot go wrong with Scandinavian death metal.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I would say 2 of the sound technicians I worked with are both members of quite big metal and death metal bands in Sweden. You know, so it's kind of their second job. They're either in a death metal band or they're sound technicians on reality shows.
Now, if you named a band, Alex would go, "No, really? Oh, no."
To be honest, Alex, this is not really my music genre. So I mean, I wish I now, I could give you the names now, but I don't remember it. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I know the guys, but
That's okay.
So anyway, we're shooting this 3rd season now, and we have some really good stuff lining up. And the shoot, they will start tomorrow or on Tuesday, is quite close to my heart because it's in my hometown, where I was living for 15 years, and I went to school there, and I found a very unique place, which I hope will deliver.
So this is a location that you provided for this?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean it's not a known location, but I visited as a kid and I loved it, and I started to, check around. I contacted the former owner of this, and and discovered that this is a very very active place, but they don't have this, you know, they don't do anything with it, for PR reasons or anything like that. But they were very open to it. When I called, they were like, "This sounds like fun."
Yeah.
Probably because no one.
Reconsidered.
Yeah, yeah. And the location itself is very very unique. I there might be someone from Sweden listening, and I don't want to reveal any more details. Really, I want it to be a surprise.
But that's what I find interesting about you, Fred. One of the things, obviously, is the fact that you love to be adventurous. You find these really intriguing little places, off the beaten path, and you bring them forth and you show people. I mean, there's some really intriguing stuff that I've noticed over the years that you've posted. It may be on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, showing pictures of it. And I had to ask you questions and said, "Look tell me more about this place. This is really neat."
I'm not just haunted places, but it's like I'm during the lockdown last year. I mean, I was out in nature a lot, and I did I think 10 quite long YouTube videos where I was discovering interesting places around the neighborhood, old medieval stuff or Iron and Bronze Age stuff. And last year in the autumn, I found another place which I haven't made any video of it yet, but I will do this summer. It's like a triangular sacrificial spot, sacrificial, what do you call it? Yeah, site, sacrificial, kind of squeezed in between two roads. But I know you have these triangle spots in Sweden, triangle shaped altars, you can say. But this is when I found it was as usual by mistake, because I was out walking somewhere and I just visited another grave field, which I made a video about. And this place was like, wow, this is insane. It's in a very beautiful way. Well, I don't call myself an urban explorer. I call myself an rural explorer. I love finding stuff outside the city because there's so much to find there, and there's always people to talk with. Everyone has a story to tell. Everyone. If you start talking with people, they have always something fascinating to share. Talk with people. I mean, most people love to talk. And I mean, my biggest pain this year is, or the last 1.5 years, is that it's hard to physically get close to people. Especially older people. But I hope that will change soon, because I have this itch. I need to get out.
Well, how are things there in Sweden with it? I mean, have you guys numbers and all that? How are you guys doing with the COVID?
Well, it's to be honest, I've been avoiding news recently because I feel it's a lot of propaganda. Propaganda from all kinds of directions. I'm kind of tired of it. But of course, it's been a disaster here also. But compared to other countries, I would say it's not as serious. People are living quite normal lives here. You go to the city, and there's open restaurants, and there's a lot of mingling going around for good and bad, because I think humans in general have this urge to be with other people. I think that's impossible to stop. I think people are getting deeply unhappy, and it's not about ego. It's something else. It's something deeper within us.
It's human nature. Well, let me ask you. I bet you even your golf courses are open, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Well,
Not here.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you, Fred. We are the only place in the world, Ontario, which is a province in Canada, that has closed its golf courses.
Although Alberta seems to be on the brink of doing the same thing soon.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah.
well, their numbers are getting crazy.
But-
But I mean, you can't. This is the only place in the world, pretty much, that you can't play golf.
And then I must say, golf is a pretty lonely game.
I know.
mean, it's not,
It
it's
made
not
no
like a-
sense. It made no sense when they restricted
no.
golf.
I know.
The oddest thing here, I would say, and I'm sure that's like in many places around the world, is that they allow restaurants to be open to a certain time in the evening, at least, and supermarkets and stuff like that. But they haven't, there's much harder rules regarding cinemas and theaters, and which it's easy to be, conspiracy nutter. It's something against culture in general, and I think people need, if they can go out and drink alcohol together with a lot of other people in a room, they can go and watch a movie together with a lot of other people. I don't get that thing. The cinemas are open to a certain degree now, but it's like it's completely different set of rules regarding cinemas compared to restaurants.
Here, everything's locked down again for 6 weeks.
Oh.
Everything.
Mm.
And when you look at it, I don't know. I mean, I have a hard time with lockdowns, and I think a lot of people do. I mean, when you look at you look at the state of Florida, for instance, and you look at the numbers in Florida. They're not even a third of the numbers that we're having here with a lockdown, and they're completely open and don't have to wear a mask. It just it doesn't make any sense. So I mean, of course you're going to get people who are going to say, spur the conspiracy theories and all that kind of stuff. I get that. People are tired of being locked down, and it's like, you sit there and go, our freedoms are being taken away and all this kind of stuff. And you know what? I get it. You feel it, and I don't want to get into this sort of
no
talk, but that is beyond paranormal.
It is. Yeah. I'm kind of avoiding all that stuff because I feel I don't want to go in and poke into it. It's like it is what it is. I'm kind of used to not be with other people anyway. Like, it's fine for me.
well, let me ask you. Okay, if there was a place that you or a subject you'd love to investigate or look at, what would it be?
Something paranormal, ghosts or
paranormal, even, yes, something that has an intriguing past to it.
There is a place in the northern parts of the United States, and of course it was one of the places I was investigating for season 2, which we had to cancel. It's a big villa, a luxury, quite modern villa out in the countryside, where a serial killer lived, and he took young men there and he strangled them in his private pool, and he buried them in the garden. And this villa, which looks nothing like a haunted house, it's just a quite tacky big luxury villa, seems to be so infested with something evil. I don't know.
And this was in the U.S.?
Yeah, in the U.S.
Oh, wow.
I can dig up the name for you if you want.
Almost sounds like that serial killer.
I was going to say that.
Sure.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly the same thing.
Oh, what was the guy's name again?
Oh,
do you remember?
I forgot his name, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Let's see if I can find it.
He buried like literally, you know, a lot of his victims.
Yeah, I think they
Flower pots and everything.
I don't know about flower pots in this case, but they actually made a documentary like 2 years ago about a paranormal investigation.
Okay.
But the house is privately owned and they live there. So I was desperately trying to get in contact with the owners, and I I found someone who knew them who would send them my email, but I never heard them back. It's a very intriguing case, and it's not so commercialized. It's not like they invite ghost hunters there every weekend or something like that. It's like happened once.
Well, you know what, Fred, if you're still intrigued with it and you want to make contact, you know, maybe shoot me some information. I have a few contacts that might be able to help you.
Yeah, I will. I will dig up my research about it.
Yeah.
I have some links and some names. Interesting, yeah. But I'm desperately trying to get something regarding UFOs or something more esoteric in general off the ground. Because I also feel that while I enjoy the paranormal, the ghosts a lot, I mean, my love is a lot for UFOs, for aliens, and just be able to investigate hotspots, lesser known hotspots, for those things. We have actually an island here in Sweden. The name is gone at the moment, which have a lot of this activity, and we have a place in Norway where they, for at least 20 years, had a central filming everything that was going around in this valley, because there were so many lights, UFOs. There was so much. That would be amazing to do a serious investigation of for a week or so, spending time in this valley, setting up cameras. But I'm more of a armchair investigator. I'm doing a lot of research. So I'm actually in this new season of Spökjakt, I'm actually on camera. Because, in one episode, because they had to call me to ask something, so that's my debut as in with my face on camera. So it will be a little bit scary to see for me.
But come on, you've been in front of the camera several times. I mean, that's nothing new for you.
No. I mean, the thing is that this will be seen by millions of people, and I never, it's like, I don't want to come off as some moron there,
Oh, come on! You're always too hard on yourself, Fred.
I am.
By the way, that serial killer here in Toronto was Bruce MacArthur.
Bruce,
okay.
Was that his name?
Yep.
And the guy was killing. I mean, how many people did he kill?
Oh, I would say at least 5 or 6 minimum.
There was a lot more than
no,
that.
that's what I mean, like 5 or 6 minimum. Yeah. I don't know the exact number, but I know it was a bunch.
They found a myriad of them.
A total of 8 men.
Yeah.
So he killed a total of 8 men. And he basically disposed of the body parts and because he was also a gardener, not a gardener, but like a landscaper.
He was a landscaper.
So he would bury the body parts in his employer's backyards.
Yeah. And just imagine, the cops show up. Oh, we gotta dig up your flower pots, and what do you mean? What's wrong? These are my prized flowers.
And
why they're prized.
I think there is a documentary on Bruce MacArthur on Netflix too, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, there probably is. I wouldn't doubt it. Well, what is it?
I don't know. I'm just saying there probably is.
Oh, I thought you knew.
I can see if I can find it.
But yeah, it just it was totally it's it started out, it started off with one person, then all of a sudden, bang, that one person turned into 8. It's wow. It just unfolded so fast.
Where was this? This first
Uh,
one?
in Toronto.
In Toronto. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Toronto. It just when you mentioned that last case in the villa, it just sounded wow. That sounds like this guy that was killing, men here in Toronto. That it was just a really freaky sort of story that unfolded so quickly. It started off with one, and then all of a sudden, oh, this guy's a serial killer. There's more than one.
Have you seen this documentary series called The Killing Season?
Yeah,
Killing
you know
Season?
what?
Yeah.
Joshua is such an amazing. I love him.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, we recently discussed him, and I always say that I always find his productions a little bit unfocused because he wants to go all the, in every direction,
all over the place. Yeah,
but I like that also so I mean, Cropsy I watched recently. I love that one.
I love Cropsy.
Killer,
Have you Killer Legends?
Legends, yeah. But Killing Season, I would say, is my favorite because I couldn't stop watching it, and I would love for it to be released. I think I might have done something illegal to watch it, because that was the only way I could watch it,
That's the way it goes. And you know what? He'd probably say, well, hey, at least you got to see it.
Yeah.
But, we had Joshua on to talk about The Killing Season. Mm-hmm. And I was enthralled with it. The whole story, I remember seeing news clippings. I remember seeing, on the news, because we get some of the American news up here, obviously. I remember a lot of that unfolding, but never really pieced it together to this, the fact that there might be a serial killer doing this. And it's really intriguing how they, Joshua opens it up and saying, look at, could this be a part of something? Because they eventually arrested the one guy that I forget what the guy's name is for the one killing. But they seem to think that perhaps that this might be a part of something even larger. Mm-hmm. And now one of the huge things that has sort of unfolded in the U.S. that is intriguing even more is the fact that a lot of these killings are taking place close to main arteries like highways and areas where truckers are a part of it. And somebody has blown this up to the proportion where there's a network of truckers, not necessarily truckers, but there's one or two particular persons of interest out there that might be serial killers that are killing these people in the areas that they are at the time that they're there. Florida, I think it was Clearwater or whatever. There was a few killings down in Clearwater that sort of had the same sort of MO as what happened up in Long Island with the Killing Field scenario. So, it makes you wonder.
Yeah, it does. And it's like, in many ways, a lot scarier than the usual serial killer cases where you have around one area or one or two cities or this is because it's a couple of years since I saw Killing Season, but I remember how huge this seemed to be. Yeah. And like you said, it was like unfolding while they were shooting it. It felt like a serial killer version of Hellier in some parts.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah. Well, amazing production. And I'm kind of surprised it didn't get more attention. I mean, now it would of course be out on Netflix directly and get a huge following. But I never, at least here in Scandinavia or Europe, I didn't see so much about it because I felt it was quite sensational. It's a fantastic documentary.
Yeah, it was a part of A&E when it was shot originally, and A&E is notorious to bring these things, or at least they were. Yeah, I was absolutely flabbergasted that they didn't bring a second season. I thought for sure that they were gonna extend it to another season to, bring an update, because there are a lot of stuff had unfolded by the end of by the time the first season was released, and up till just about a year ago, when they made the final arrest with that one guy that was a part of that one woman who was found dead. Now tying him to the other cases, I don't know too much about that, but there was also that one police chief that was very involved. That they said, okay, well, perhaps this guy might be involved somehow, but how? So, I mean, there was a lot of speculation with a few things that they could have brought back into the second season and answered a lot of those questions, but too bad.
Yeah, I mean, Joshua, he did something for Netflix. The last, didn't he do this Murder Mountain? Wasn't that
Yeah,
Joshua did it? So
that was really cool. Did you see that?
I haven't seen all episodes actually, but what I saw I liked a lot.
Yeah, that was I believe that dealt with, if I refresh my memory here, that dealt with the marijuana in a small area in the mountain, that they were actually killing people that were getting too close to. It was rather intriguing. It's another intriguing thing, yeah.
Yeah, he have a unique way of getting close to the subject without, becoming what's the word? I mean, a lot of people who make documentaries with themselves and get very self-obsessed, but here the focus still stays on the story. Anyway, I mean, Killing Season 2 for Netflix, I would say yes. Yeah, I would love that.
Especially now after everything that's unfolded, and all the the speculation and the arrest, and again with this police chief that was involved. Yeah, I would definitely love to see a second season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's what was I going to say? Do you know much, talking about, going down this sort of avenue, Fred? Are you familiar with the Eliza Lamb case?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's another case that is quite intriguing, with obviously with the notorious Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles, Canadian who had perished, who went missing and was found in the water tank on the top of the hotel. And I think one of the major things that they can't sort of crack is, how did she get into the tank?
Yeah. Did you see the Netflix show about it?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. I saw we had what was his name on? Oh, do you remember his name now, Alex? I can't remember. We had a
I'm bad with names.
Me too. Documentary filmmaker on, who was oh God, what's his name now? It's driving me nuts. He was working on a documentary on it as well. I don't think it ever went too far, which is too bad, because it seemed like it was his sort of angle was really intriguing.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that also, but then the Netflix thing came, and maybe, I don't know if his project fizzled out somehow. What struck me with the Netflix production was that I found it quite good, not fantastic, but I was amazed that people, I don't know if it was 5 episodes or something like that, and everyone watched the 4 episodes, and then they said, this is shit. They only blame it on the paranormal and conspiracies, and then they kind of pull the rug on everything in the last episode, at least from their point of view, which I found was both odd because it was kind of abrupt and a good way to scare away people, somehow. But I'm aware of this other documentary that you mentioned, and I really hope people, do it, finish it, because I think a more personal, less Netflix style thing would be better, actually.
Oh, I know. As much as a lot of these Netflix documentaries bring awareness to the subject, I'd like to see something a little bit more independent. Bringing, I think, a little bit more of a raw sort of look at, because his avenue was, look at, she had issues. She was on medication. She wasn't taking her medication. And, because obviously most people will sort of zero in on the last sort of footage of her being alive in the elevator, right? And how she was acting all erratic, like there was somebody there. She was talking to somebody, but was she really talking to somebody? I mean, that's the question. And most likely, she probably wasn't talking to somebody. She was probably having some sort of, scenario with not being on her medication, a breakdown, or however you want to put it. I don't know. But immediately, people were saying that, oh my God, look at her. There's something very wrong. There's somebody there. Something is like possessing her, if you will. And as much as I'd like to think that, there's that happened, I really don't think that was the case.
No, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I've spent time with friends who had similar kind of psychosis, and I mean the way how they react to this state of mind is very similar, and it also feels very, once again, otherworldly. It's really like they're somewhere else, or they talking with something, and it's both scary and fascinating, to be honest, because it's so strange when you experience it up close, and seeing this on this grainy elevator camera just makes it spookier.
Well, I mean, at the time that had broke, she was missing. Okay, they didn't know where, is she alive? Where is she? She's missing. What happened to Eliza Lamb? That's the name of the documentary, by the way, that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Eliza Lamb? And that's what you want to, you want to zero in on and go, wow, okay, that's what drew me in. Okay, here's this missing woman. When you watch this footage, you're like, wow, this is so intriguing.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely.
And then, when they say, oh, well, they found her in the water tank on top of the hotel, and, they go in, the Netflix sort of series goes into talking about how, well, the Cecil Hotel is, what's cursed. That's what it is. It's cursed. It's had a lot of incidents, and a lot of serial killers have lived here, and, it's haunted, and this is what happened to Eliza Lamb. Let's be honest here. Really, you're dealing with somebody who is very troubled, who had a lot of issues, and not taking her medication obviously added to that. But the thing is, even so, how is she able to get up into that and crawl into that water tank?
Yeah, I mean the case itself, I'm not going to use the word unexplainable, but it's so weird. It's so strange. Everything around it, it's so weird. It's like all the high strangeness of the world came together, around Lam. And I mean, we will never know the truth in this.
Let me ask you, Fred. Is there something like a case that you are so fascinated with that you can't explain?
We have a couple of cases in Sweden, which I hope to do a more deeper investigation in, because there's very little info. You have the case of 3 guys who disappeared at the same time at the end of the 60s. They jumped into a car, was never seen again.
Okay.
Then the early 60s, you had a woman who disappeared. She lived in a house. She was walking like 50 meters to go to some barn or something. And she disappeared on her way. And there's been so much stories about, especially this last case, because there was a military exercise nearby. And there is this theory that the militaries by accident killed her, they run her over by a tank or something like that and buried her. But there's been so much gossip around it, so much stories, where, first of all, what happened to her? Are these military people involved somehow in it? But once again, there's not so much written about it either. So, one day I will dive deeper into it. I have a few months over this summer where I'm gonna be free, so maybe I'll do it then.
Let's inspire Fred here, Alex. Come on, let's inspire him.
just before we go any further, Vito just actually posted a message on YouTube saying there's found footage horror movie called Followed that is loosely based on Eliza Lamb.
Ooh.
I have not seen that.
I'd never heard about it.
Leave it to Vito to bring that up. Hey, Vito, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Yeah, that is definitely something I'll have to check out. I'll have to check that. It's called The Followed?
It's called Followed.
Followed. Okay, Followed. Found footage. You're chuckling, Fred. Found footage.
Yeah, I love found footage. I could talk for hours about it, actually. I'm trying to stop myself from, there's so many titles that, Unaware, Amber Alert, The Tunnel, Borderlands. There's so many
great ones.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of crap also, of course. But I mean, I would say there's a couple of masterpieces out there. People don't watch them because it's found footage. It's silly.
There's you know what? I don't care what people say about them. I enjoy them. I really do. There's a lot of duds. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot out there that I really, really enjoyed. Enjoyed.
Yeah, lots of good stuff. A couple of years ago, I did one. It was like 20 minutes long, called The Opening. It's on YouTube. Yeah, I think it had. I mean, it's compared to other YouTube videos, it's not much, but I think it has like 25,000-30,000 views, and people are still commenting on it. And looking at it now, I'm a little bit embarrassed, maybe, but there is an audience still for it, for this kind of My friend Jason always says that the power of the found footage is the what if factor. What if this is real? And that's I like that.
Well, I mean, you look at stuff that in the early days, everyone harks back to the last broadcast or the Blair Witch Project or whatever. Even early, there's earlier examples, but when you sit there and how they brilliantly marketed these films.
Mm-hmm.
The Blair Witch was at a time when the internet was just expanding and more people were sort of becoming aware of it. They didn't know what the internet was, and they made this website, a companion, to explain the Blair Witch sort of story, and people bought into it and believed it. And then when people finally went to go watch the movie, they're like, "Oh my God, that was real. That's so real." They bought it.
Yeah, I love that. It's there's something very intriguing with stuff that you're not sure what you're watching. I mean, I think we talked about this the last time. When I first saw Blair Witch, it was on a bootleg VHS tape in a dark basement during a thunderstorm, and it was the scariest shit I've ever seen. And afterwards we were like, "Yeah, is this real? Can they release this?" It was, you got sucked into it. Still a movie that holds up very well today.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's one of the classics.
One of our good friends, Vito, he's in chat. He says, I like this Fred guy already."
No.
Fred, if you're ever looking for some music score for any project, I tell you, gotta hit up this Vito guy.
Yeah,
hit him up.
Metal guy. He's a metal guy.
Oh, okay.
You can talk. You can work with another death metal guy. No, he's not death metal, but metal.
I will do.
Okay, wow, man, this is it's just flown by, Fred. It's get any information out there for anyone who wants to find you or talk to you or whatever.
Please join me at Twitter, Homo Satanis. And I have several Instagram accounts because I'm quite obsessed by it. But follow me on Schmollywood Babylon for movies and Homo Satanis for books and weirdness in general. I would. Yeah, and I have a YouTube channel which has been less updated recently because it's so much work, where I put up some pretty interesting videos about everything from the occult history, movies, books. And if you search for Fred Andersson with 2 S, I'm sure you'll find me there. And if you're in Sweden, I have a podcast called Märklighetsfaktorn, which is like the Swedish name for high strangeness, where we do the latest high strangeness news from all over the world, but it's in Swedish. So
yeah, but you know what? Even so, the podcast is in Swedish. Some of the stories that you've gathered are really cool, man. It's really I got to commend you on where you're finding these stories.
I'm there is a lot of you have to find the best pages for it and forums. There's always someone posting some incredible strange stuff, especially from Russia and the South American countries where there's so much weirdness going on. There's tons of it. We've done 31 episodes so far, and we have 4 news stories in each, and 1 weekly mystery, some older mystery we talk about, and it never ends. There's so much going on out there, and I love it. There's some of it is easy to debunk. But it's fun anyway, of course. But then there's some really cool paranormal videos out there, for example, which I can't explain. You can sense if something is real. If it's not a hoax, you can sense that, okay, they experienced this here and now, and they filmed it, and you can't explain it.
Well, I think there was one that I was watching that you posted a link to, and it was the one in the barn.
The barn? Which one was that?
There was a barn, and the guy was, I think it was Russian or something. I think it was a Russian. Yes. And the guy was like banging on his whatever, because there was something in the barn.
Yeah.
And he was trying to whatever. It was, even if it was fake, it was so eerie.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. It was really eerie.
Yeah, it's for those who don't know. I think it's what they believe was some kind of Bigfoot or something inside, because the Bigfoots in Russia sound very differently from those in the United States and Canada, what I understand. And we, in the new episode that comes out tomorrow, we have, or today actually, it's morning here, we have another one where there's a guy at some Bigfoot conference in the United States, I think, who calls a Bigfoot. He talks with a Bigfoot in cell phone, which have a very similar, which have a very similar sound as this barn creature. I can't even, it's impossible to imitate how it sounds, but it's I'm sure if you search for Bigfoot cell phone call or something, you will see some shaky footage from a Bigfoot conference.
But I have to commend you, because you have found like it's easy enough to scour the net, but it's not easy enough to find something that is very unique.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have a good hunch for things. It's like the paranormal show. Sometimes you have a hunch that this place will be something of interest. It might not look as not look much when you first look at it, but there is something in it. And I think, Jimmy, who I have the podcast with, he had a show earlier on a big news site in Sweden where he's extremely good at finding stuff like this. It's like even the most boring weekend, he digs up something that is like insane. So he's the master, really,
Yeah.
But I'm getting there myself also,
He's teaching you the way, Fred.
Yes. It's like a mentor.
He's a mentor.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. And it's there's so much out there, and there's so much that we overlook. I think a lot of times on purpose, because we really don't think it's much. But you know what? The smallest things, when you sit there and you watch it, you're going, wow. This is, wow, I've never seen this before.
The world might be crazy at the moment, but it's quite a beautiful world also when it comes to all the strange things that happening. It's a magical world, and I think, embrace it. It's a lot more fun that way.
Well, my friend, take care, and thank you so much. And you know what? We would love to have you back on. You know that, man.
Yeah, I'll be happy to be back. Just let me know.
Absolutely. And I know it's morning there now. I want to thank you for being a part of us tonight.
Thank you, and always a pleasure.
All right, take care, my friend.
Take care, Fred.
Bye.
Take care, Fred. Really, really cool, man. It's always great to have Fred on.
Yeah. It was some interesting stories, especially with the UFO story that you talked about the first hour.
Well, yeah. Okay. So we'll have to end. Hold on. We're gonna have to end the radio portion here, and we'll go on a little bit longer here. Hold on. We'll just end things. I want to thank Fred for joining us this evening. Incredible. Always great to have him on. And like I said, he's always been an inspiration for me. First with movies, years ago. I've known Fred for a long time, and now watching him. When we went through our sort of randonaut phase, it was him that showed me all about this, and I asked him. I said, "What the hell is this shit?"
Yeah,
it was him that pointed me in the direction. I thought, "Hey, this is pretty neat." Even though it's, Pokemon for adults or whatever. Yeah. But it was intriguing. It really was.
It's more like Poke Uranus.
Yeah. Okay. I want to thank. So we're going to close the audio portion on the New Visions Radio Network. thanks to Fred for joining us. We'll have all the necessary linkage on the YouTube page.
Yep.
And of course, our Facebook page. If you're not following us on Facebook, please do so. That's our most active sort of format in conversing with all you guys. So just go to Facebook, just type in Nocturnal Frequency Radio, and you'll find us. Until next weekend, thank you for joining us here on the New Visions Radio Network. Please join us on YouTube for a little bit longer here. Come on over to YouTube. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Okay. So, in carrying on, that, like I said, Fred was saying that, his podcast is only in Swedish right now.
Yes.
But like I said, if you follow the page, I'll have to find it. If you follow there's a Facebook page that they keep very active with the podcast, and what they do is they post the links to everything that they discuss in the episode. And like I said, some of the stuff they've been able to find has just been wow.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
It's just eerie. Is it real or not? I don't care. It's just eerie shit. It just, like we were talking about the barn and how this guy was throwing stuff in the one door, and whatever was in there was throwing it back at him, and it was just really eerie.
I think I saw that YouTube video. Was it someone in Russia?
Yeah, I shared it on the.
Okay, it was you. Okay, so yeah, I did. Yeah,
on the Facebook group. Yeah. I was like, wow, man, this is crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Even if it's fake, it's eerie.
Well, it's what it is that it's different.
Well, that's what I mean. It's different.
It's like a lot of the stuff that we see today about the paranormal here in North America is the same old recycled shit.
Yeah.
And you see something like this, and you're like, okay, well, even though, like you said, even though it might be fake, it's still unique at the very least.
It's like I'm watching an episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Seriously. It's like, and look at. I've told you, when it comes to Fred, years ago when I first met Fred, it was about movies and some of these flicks that he would talk about and discuss on this old message board that we used to always gather. And this is obviously pre-social media bullshit. And we'd be like, I think I totally disappeared.
Yeah, you did. Fucking Skype's doing that shit again.
It's like he finds these movies and he discusses them, and you're like, where did you find this movie? It's so whacked out. It didn't matter how screwed up it was or how screwed up it looked. I wanted to see it. And 9 out of 10 times I would enjoy the movie. But now he is, like I said, the guy, he's an actor. He's been in a few movies and a few TV shows in Sweden. And I didn't bring it up. I did bring it up in the first time he was on the show. He was in a movie, a cult classic, really now, called Camp Slaughter.
Okay.
He was in the movie called Camp Slaughter, and he'll tell you, man, it's probably not his best work, but it's always intriguing to bring it up and discuss it. But he'll be the first to tell you. It's like I was the nerdy guy that they had to kill off, but it's neat.
Yeah, it's
intriguing guy.
Now Gareth pointed out that you're not on stream. I know. Steve has a disappearing act. He's like Houdini. He likes to disappear on me.
I'm back.
He is back.
I'm back. You've got me zoomed in.
I know. Trust me. Don't get me started with this shit. Fucking
What if I
Skype.
go
Look
like
at that.
this?
It's fucking going crazy again.
Is it?
Fuck. Stupid fucking shit. Sorry. Pardon my language.
That's it. We're gonna have to get somebody in here to produce a show.
Yeah. Getting tired of it. Look at this. Every time I fucking try to do something, it fucking changes on me, you fucking rat bastard.
Look, I'm hiding in the corner now. Look, I'm gone.
Fuck's sake.
Uh...
We'll get Vito to produce the show.
Huh?
We'll get Vito to produce the show.
Might have to.
Yeah.
Vito, if you're still listening, we need a producer for the show. See, look. Extreme close up.
Yeah. I want to be able to like zoom into his nostrils so people can see his boogers.
There you go. Is that extreme enough?
Yeah, it's extreme. What big eyes you have, Steve.
Oh man.
Hey Vito, those are his bifocals.
Oh yeah, don't even go there, buddy. Not yet. I'm afraid to go to the eye doctor.
Why? Because you prescribed bifocals?
Well, I'm at that age now where look at that. That's a reality. I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah.
Fucking viewing your bald head with magnifying glasses.
Fun times.
Huh?
Fun times.
Oh yeah. But anyways, that great to have Fred back on the show. And like I said, he's an old friend, a wealth of knowledge, big film buff. Yeah, Vito, you love Fred. He would tell you all about these flicks that you'd be like, I gotta see. And Fred will produce those films for you. He just, holy shit. He's always been like that. But like I said, he's expanded now into the world of ufology.
Mm-hmm.
He just sent us a message. I don't know if you noticed that.
Who?
Fred on Skype.
Oh no, I didn't see it.
Yeah. He said, thanks, always a pleasure. So, it's always a pleasure to have him on.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I said, Fred wrote for a webzine that I had years ago that ran for 10 years from 2002 to 2012 called Cinema Nocturna. It had writers from all over the world reviewing movies from all over the world, and mostly cult status films, lesser known films. And Fred was our guy in Sweden. He would bring some of the most intriguing flicks. But he was always, his confidence when it came to English was always low. And then, you'd read something he reviewed, like if he reviewed a film and you if you read the review, it'd be fantastic.
Mm.
And he just felt so like, no, it's not good enough. Fred, it's great. It's amazing.
His English is really well. It's very good.
Yeah.
He speaks better English than some of the people I've come across who were born in North America.
Absolutely. Yeah. And he writes in English better than a lot of people that I've seen write in English.
I've read his article on the UFO thing. By the way, links are in the description below. So go check out his website, his Instagram, and I believe I even put his Twitter handle there as well.
Yeah. Amazing guy. so glad to know him, and I've been able to, know him for so many years. It's wonderful, and like I said, he's working on a paranormal TV show that's very popular in Sweden right now. Unfortunately, it's not available in English, which is too bad because you know what, like he probably says it translates well into English. So, maybe
Someday.
down the road, that'll happen.
Yeah. I mean, just being able to release it with subtitles would be, I think, sufficient. But I mean, if they were to be able to remake it with the same sort of places but in English, that would be even better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So I had my first dose yesterday.
Yeah? Are you sprouting a third arm yet?
No, but I'll tell you, it was really weird, man. I had the AstraZeneca one, which, in all, I'm not too worried about which one I have. People are in an uproar about the blood clot scenario, but I mean, it's ultra rare.
It is, yeah.
Extremely rare.
And unfortunately, it seems to be hitting women more so than men, unfortunately.
No, but I get that. But men, it's hit harder in the fact where death.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you look at that guy in Hamilton who had a really extremely rare blood clot. It's...
Sorry. What? Vito's comment, how's your 5G connection on your phone?
Actually, it sucked my 5G. But anyways, no, I mean, no side effects. A little bit of a sore arm and headache today. Yeah. I mean, I had to take today off. I was supposed to work, but I said, I'm gonna relax.
Yep.
Lenore had her shot too, and she's feeling a little beat up.
Yeah.
Like a Mack truck hit her, energy wise.
Yeah, it affects people differently.
Yeah, it affects people differently, but I mean, for the most part, there hasn't been anything serious. Thank God. I don't know why I say.
I've been trying to book mine, but the pharmacy where I booked mine at said they ran out of doses, so they're just gonna message me when they get more shipment in.
See, you need to go on. There's a website called Something Hunter.
Yeah, my next door neighbor actually did that, and he was able to get booked pretty quickly. So I'm gonna wait a day or so. If I don't hear from the pharmacy, then I'll probably do that myself.
Yeah, if you want to get vaccinated, yeah. I mean, we basically had ours booked, or not booked, but we were waiting to get booked, and we didn't hear anything for like a couple weeks. I said, "Fuck this shit! I'm just gonna see about work, and maybe get it booked through work." And I was able to get it booked like right away.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're considered frontline worker, right?
Yeah, but still, they were just quicker all in all. But what I found out about were when we booked this other place, it turns out that they lost their system crashed and they lost all the information.
Oh, that's great.
So we didn't hear anything from them, and that was the reason. That was the reasoning behind.
I got one better. So the pharmacy here in my town, the Shoppers Drug Mart, not because there's a couple of pharmacies. So the Shoppers Drug Mart, on the Peel Regional website, I can book through a pharmacy through their site, and this one shows up. So I booked it, or I filled out the form. But when you call them, the IVR says, we are not administering COVID-19 vaccines. Really? So Peel Regional website says you are. You say you're not. Who the fuck's... like this is so disjointed. The way they're doing it is so disjointed. It's unbelievable.
Maybe they know you're a Freemason.
Yeah, maybe. Well, if that was the case, then I should have been one of the first to get vaccinated.
You should have had the shot by now.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh God, I was gonna say something else. I can't remember now. Um, oh, it's somebody. Somebody on my Facebook posted a picture, not a picture, but when you write something, you can have the colored background.
Mhm.
What are those called? Memes? I don't know.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading a comment here. Steve is a pandemic and Alex is a helicopter pilot. What the fuck? Thanks, Ron. Appreciate it.
Gotta love Ron.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ron.
That'll be like the saying going forward when something happens. Thanks, Ron.
Thanks, Ron.
By the way,
good.
his music
He's
is
a pandemic and Alex is a helicopter pilot.
By the way, for all of you guys who listen to the break songs, that was Ron's song. A couple of his songs were on the break, both the intro and the break pages, or break segments, rather.
Is he going to retitle it? Steve's a pandemic and Alex is a helicopter pilot?
What do you mean retitle it?
Is the song that he provided for the breaks?
No, he's gonna submit a new one called "Steve is a Pandemic," and then the second one's gonna be Alex is a helicopter pilot.
Okay, so anyways, this guy posts this meme, whatever or not. It's funny how the flu has disappeared, is non-existent, and how they replaced it with COVID.
What do you mean it's disappeared?
Well, exactly. That's what I said.
What fucking crack is he smoking?
Are you fucking serious? Okay, so the flu numbers are very low this season. I get that, but it hasn't disappeared.
It's been low because people have been staying home and wearing masks and washing their fucking hands.
Exactly.
That fucking dingbat.
And
see, this is why more than 1 million people a year need to vanish.
Yeah. And, I simply said, wake the fuck up. Really? If you think the flu and COVID are the same fucking thing, you're fucked. And then I had one of his buddies jump on me saying, you're one of those people, the reason why Canada is so fucked up. Really?
Oh, yeah. Listen, I'm out of alcohol. I don't want to, get into this topic.
Oh, okay.
By the way, Ron said paramedic. He meant to say paramedic, not pandemic. So you're a paramedic.
I'm a paramedic and you're a helicopter fucking pilot.
Yeah, that's it.
How the fuck does that work out? I don't get it. Where does he get that from?
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, so do you want to take a call till 11:30 or what?
Wow, we have a call?
I don't know. Is somebody calling us? Somebody want to call us?
I don't know.
Okay, so anyways, so here you go. If you'd like to call us, you can do so at 716-406-4472. We're going to go until about 7:30. 11:30 is the cutoff. But if you'd like to call us, we'll take some calls until 11:30. 716-406-4472 is the number to call. Okay, you're laughing your ass off. Why?
No, right. So say I don't want Steve to get mad at me. Make sure he knows I said paramedic.
I know.
I prefer pandemic, really, to be honest with you, Ron.
I'm a pandemic.
He's a pandemic.
I'm a pandemic. Oh, we got a call. Hold on a sec.
Oh, great. Now I'm going to be knocked off.
Huh?
Now I'm going to be knocked off.
No. Hey, how are you? Hello?
Hello, is this the nocturnal frequency?
Oh, my God, it's Gareth.
It's Gareth. How are you?
How did you know it was me? I'm doing my accent over here.
See, I told you I get knocked off, Steve.
Where's your visual? Turn your camera on. What the hell?
My camera is on.
How come I don't got it?
I'm on my phone talking to you right now. Now listen to me, gentlemen. You guys have been very mean this evening, talking about all kinds of mean and nasty stuff. I don't like it.
By the way, folks, Gareth is the.
It's very annoying to me.
Gareth, tell everybody about your show as well, since you're on here. Tell people that you talk about us behind our backs. I'm just kidding.
I talk about you behind your backs. No, I just wanted to call in to say, great show tonight, guys. You had me from the beginning. I watched the whole thing. Great guest, great conversation. My hat's off to you. Great job.
Yeah, Fred's a great guy. I love Fred.
Yeah, he's good.
Oh.
We've had him on before too.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Can never go wrong with Fred.
Yeah, very cool.
So how about you? How you doing? How you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. I'm hanging in there. I'm surviving. I'm keeping the wolf from the door. But I just wanted to call in and say thanks, guys. It's been a fun Sunday evening watching you guys talk to Fred, and I'll let you guys go so maybe some other callers can call in. But great talking to you guys. Great seeing you guys.
All right, Gareth. Take care.
Take care, guys.
Take it easy. Bye.
Awesome, man.
Oh, look, I'm back.
You're knocked off. I don't see you. Where are you?
I'm back now.
Where'd you go?
Where did I go?
Where are you?
I'm hiding behind you.
Okay, so okay, we'll take another call or two. Anyone else would like to call in? 716-406-4472 is the number to call. Throw it in chat, man.
Hang on.
Throw it in chat.
I'm trying to fix my fucking video stream.
We're gonna go until about 7:30 or 7:30. Why do I keep saying 7:30? 11:30.
It's because you're on crack, man.
This is the bonus part of the show. Yeah, I'm on crack. Good crack, yeah. 716.
It's the vaccine.
4472 to call. It's the vaccine talking now, buddy.
It's the vaccine talking.
I've had this fucking headache, and I haven't had a beer in a whole week. So these are the first two beers I've had all week, and let me tell you, man, they've hit me.
So Ron was basically guessing our profession. So you guess you were a paramedic, and I was a helicopter pilot. Is essentially what he's getting at.
Okay, Ron, can I ask you what made you think I was a paramedic?
Ron,
and him a helicopter pilot.
Ron, Steve's a male prostitute by trade, and I'm his pimp.
Oh, God. Okay, so once again, the number to call if you would like to call in. We've got about 7 minutes left. 716-406-4472 is the number to call to join us if you have something to talk about. So
try not to knock me off the video when you call.
Well, it was worse in the past where we knock you right off, period.
This is true. Yeah, at least my audio's still going.
At least you hung in there.
Yeah.
Right? At least you hung in there. So, that UFO case, like I said, that we started off with Fred was, we had to have him on to talk about it because seriously, it was very intriguing.
It was, yeah.
When you read the article, and we've posted the link there to his article, and fascinating shit, man. I mean, and when Fred dives into something, he's very passionate.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He goes all in when it comes to researching a subject. And he did a really, really amazing job with the article about this UFO event that happened in the 70s in Sweden. Like I said, if you try to find anything on this, it's very, very hard to find anything. There's a couple articles he said, but when you search it automatically, I think his article is the first one that comes up.
Yep. I'm trying to see if I can. I want to basically go back to his page like I did before because I was able to show his actual article. Give me a sec. open up another browser.
You can open another browser and do it.
Well, I wanna bring it up on the stream. Hang on.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight too, please, and thank you for supporting the show and being a part of it on a weekly basis. Thank you. A lot of good friends in the chat. You know, Mars, the soft sparkle lady. Ron, who's continuously supported the show. Thank you. Vito, good friend from the band November's Doom. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Gareth, the host of the Mindset Podcast. Thank you for joining us. We've had a few other. Who else? There's been somebody.
Melissa, new listener to our show from Gareth's podcast or show rather. She joined us today.
You know, and of course, in the New Visions radio chat room, I want to thank Kevin and Redmond for again continuous support. They have been with us, since God knows, since the beginning. Thank you for tuning in and supporting us. Well, we got about 4 minutes here. I guess nobody wants to call.
Nah, they're scared.
Yeah. Once again, if you'd like to call in, if you have something that you want to talk about for the last 3 minutes of the show, 716-406-4472 before we shut this down.
Shut it down.
Shut her down. So you haven't been able to get yours scheduled yet, eh?
No, well, I mean, I've submitted the form. I'm on the waiting list. I just received an email, I think it was yesterday, saying that they ran out. They have no more doses, so they're just going to wait until once they get new shipment in, they'll start calling people again and booking appointments. Yeah. Because it's a small pharmacy. I didn't go with Shoppers because Shoppers doesn't know what the fuck they're doing over here. Right? So it's a small pharmacy, and I guess they only had so many shots, and they're going to be getting some more in, I guess, at some point. Well, they were talking about getting some of the Pfizer in there, because there was that was it for the AstraZeneca for a month, anyways. They're saying. Yeah, so they're doing a pilot project with select pharmacies for the Pfizer and Moderna. So essentially what it is because I was looking at it yesterday, actually, you still with AstraZeneca, it's 40 and above at the pharmacies can book. So I'll be eligible for that. For the Pfizer and Moderna, unfortunately, it's still only 55 and up at the pharmacy. So I wouldn't be able to book it anyway, even if I wanted to. 55 and up? Yeah. Really? Yeah, for the pilot project. Yeah. And it's typically in the hot spots. So my area is not considered a hot spot. So whatever. Yeah, it's really too bad. I think the way that they've released the vaccines has been very terrible. Oh, it's a shit show. It's a shit show. It's a fucking shit show. Essential workers have been completely overlooked. I'm gonna sit there and I'll probably take some flack for it, but I don't give a shit. Teachers have been bitching and moaning about being fucking jabbed, but you know what? I'm sorry. There was how many months where teachers were online only while we were working our asses off? Mm-hmm. I know they were off. Yeah. They scream and moan that they need to have being jabbed because, but seriously, I have not been off a day. Well, I shouldn't say a day. I've been off. But I mean, since this pandemic started, I've been fucking on the go from day one. Yeah. And I'm exposed to these people every day on a general basis, every day. Yeah. So whatever. I know. Listen, I know, but
Thankfully, everything's been okay. I haven't had to worry about it, but still, you never know, right?
I mean, you may be lucky and be one of those individuals who's asymptomatic too, right?
Oh, yeah. If only, right?
Yeah. I mean,
if only that was the case. I'd like to think that. I mean, I did. I mean, I did get sick. When this started out, December 2020 or December 2019.
Yeah.
Lenora was sick too. She was very sick. But I mean, was it? Who knows? We don't know.
who knows?
But even so, you're not going to take chances. You want things to get to. No, Johnson and Johnson have been shut down. Vito
I thought it was
announced
under
it.
review. I mean, they bought a bunch of doses.
They shut it down again.
Did they?
There's
Okay.
there's too many issues with the blood clot. With that one, I mean, there's issues with the AstraZeneca one, but not to the same number as the
Johnson & Johnson.
The Johnson & Johnson is apparently it's appearing a lot more. Right. So, I mean, Johnson & Johnson, I think per 100,000, I think the count was 0.032 or something percent. Is extremely low.
But it's higher than AstraZeneca.
But the no, that's the AstraZeneca percentage.
Oh, okay.
Johnson & Johnson, yeah, it's way higher.
Yeah, okay.
It's way, yeah, they're having issues with it. So until they can get that shit show figured out, you won't see that happening. Yeah, they shut it down in the U.S. That's right. All right, dude. I think that's pretty much it.
That's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank Fred Andersson for joining us, dear friend. And I look forward to having him back on in the near future. Wealth of intriguing tales of the unknown and mysterious. Thank you, Fred. Take care, everyone. Have a good night, and we'll see you next Sunday night.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.